defense advocate in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, Malesela Teffo, who's alleged today that one of his clients is being abused at the Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Center. The court is yet to hear Teffo's application to have the charges against his clients dropped. That caused a lot of debate earlier in proceedings. Let's take you live to the High Court in Pretoria. Tshegohaco Moagi is our reporter on the story. And Tshegohaco, let's begin with what happened just before the adjournment, because at issue was the reading of a letter that would give more or shed more light on the alleged abuse suffered by accused number 3.
Absolutely, Tembekile. Good afternoon to you. So we do know that Advocate Malesela Teffo has now brought forward this letter by accused number 3 to be read in court to ensure that, the details of the alleged inhuman living conditions that he is facing at the Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Center are actually highlighted and that they are put on record. But we have heard before, Tembekile, that there are conditions that he is unhappy about at Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Services, and this has actually been brought to the fore to the court. And so what then transpired just before the adjournment, Advocate Malesela Teffo calling for the judge to hear this letter, to have this letter read into evidence and into the record for the court to then decide what should then happen. I mean, this is something that Advocate Malesela Teffo has spoken about to an extent, that the issue of how accused number 3 is allegedly being treated at Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Services is inhumane and as tantamount to abuse, so to speak. So we are still waiting to hear whether or not that letter will be read into record, because, Tembekile, we then heard Advocate Baloyi saying that he does not approve to this letter being read into the record or read to the court today, mainly because they need to have the response of an official from Correctional Services or a senior person from the prison itself to actually come in and have a response from them. The Advocate Malesela Teffo then saying that that does not make sense to him. This letter can still be read into the record, and then moving forward they can then decide what the way should be and whether or not there is a need for a response from the officials from the prison itself. Advocate Mshololo has also stepped in. She, of course, is representing accused number 5, and she has spoken extensively about how this letter should not be read. She agreed, of course, with the state that this letter should not be read into the record, mainly because there is the issue of an accused person, so to speak, within the letter, or a prison official coming in to then explain the conditions of the prison and to just give a response to this particular letter. So Advocate Mshololo coming in saying that she also she objects to the letter being read in on the record today. She then, Tembekile, went on to speak about the matter that was supposed to be heard today, and she has then requested that the judge does not hear any other applications today and instead decides to deal with what was supposed to have been set down for today. So the issue of the letter has been one that has dragged for an hour or so in the court. The letter that was brought forward by accused number 3 with alleged inhuman living conditions as presented by Advocate Malesela Teffo. He's also pleaded with the court, Tembekile, Advocate Malesela Teffo, that this matter should not be kept until next time. He's actually said, and I quote him, there might not be a next time. This is something that Judge Tshegohaco Maumela has said as well. The concerns, and it was not the first time that we've heard it today, the concerns from Judge Tshegohaco Maumela around whether or not there is a threat to the life of a suspect or an accused in this particular trial, and he says he cannot allow to not have the letter being read into the record. He needs to hear what is being said so that he can address that matter to ensure the safety of the accused. Let's just take a closer listen, however, then to what was said in court regarding this letter by accused number 3.
And furthermore, accused number 3, he's got the letter that he also humbly requests that my learned interpreter may read that letter to the court. It's in relation to the condition that has been subjected to at the Kgosi Mampuru prison. May I take the letter, Your Lordship, and give it to the interpreter?
So that, Tembekile, is then the letter that was brought forward, or the application and the request by Advocate Malesela Teffo, that this letter is then read into the record here in court regarding the alleged inhuman living conditions that accused number 3 is facing at the Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Services. So the issue, of course, that we're supposed to have heard of today, Tembekile, was that of the jurisdiction and what the way forward would then be. But of course, we do know that Advocate Malesela Teffo then filed papers to the NDDP requesting that the charges against the accused number 1 and 4 be actually set down and actually be really struck off the roll, and that, you know, he says that his clients are innocent in this matter.
Tshegohaco Moagi live for us at the High Court in Pretoria. For now, thank you, Tshegohaco. We'll come back to you when the hearings continue at 2 o'clock this afternoon.